Understand if and when you're using continual learning and the risks associated with doing so. Why this principle? The use of continual learning can be a crucial component in helping keep a system secure as well as performant. It allows you to dynamically tackle issues like model drift and erroneous predictions, while also creating a moving target for attackers. CL can come in many forms and is not always obvious. From a security point of view, you can consider CL to be any time that your model's behavior is affected by data collected during operation. An example would be adding a new data point to a k-nearest neighbor algorithm during its deployment. Although CL can bring important security benefits, the process of taking user input and feedback to retrain a model during operation also opens a new attack vector, as you are allowing the logic and behavior of your model to be changed by possibly untrusted sources. Retraining on an updated dataset may cause the model's decision surface to change, causing old, potentially correct behaviors to be lost under certain circumstances. This can lead to the model forgetting certain behaviors, causing a drop in performance. An attacker could harness this to deliberately induce bias or undesirable behavior in your model, meaning you should make sure that a retrained model still behaves how you intended. CL also brings complications around protecting user privacy, as it requires collecting data directly from users. It also indirectly complicates the tracking of dataset and model updates, as outlined in Principle 2.5, Requirements and Development. Track your assets and make supply chains more difficult to secure. You should be aware of these risks and have systems or processes in place to ensure users can't maliciously affect your model's behavior. This will help mitigate the risk of adversarial manipulation from continual learning and improve confidentiality for users, as you won't be collecting data that doesn't meet your requirements. How to prevent malicious manipulation and continual forgetting is discussed in Principle 4.2, In Operation, Track Your Assets. What are the goals of this principle? You understand whether use of CL is justified for your specification and system. You understand that using CL opens up your system to possible exploitation by users. You understand that CL carried out on a local system will only affect one instance of the model, and have considered whether it's desirable to have each specific instance of your system behaving slightly differently. You understand the potential impact of adversaries influencing your model's logic, as happened in the example of Microsoft Tay. Strengthen your infrastructure, including pre-processing. When collecting data from users, use techniques to ensure the data is anonymized. This allows you to gain the advantage of collecting data while protecting users' privacy, reducing security concerns. Guidance. Data anonymization techniques include differential privacy, using statistical techniques to ensure privacy without affecting the dataset's overall statistical integrity. Data masking, a range of techniques that represent a point in a different, usually unreadable to a human, way, e.g. encryption, hashing, or data obfuscation. Generalization aggregation, zooming out of the data to anonymize individual contributions while keeping overall trends. Data swapping, swapping attributes, data points between entries while maintaining the underlying statistics of the dataset. Pseudonymization, removing and keeping separate attributes of the data such that a data point can no longer be attributed to a specific entry without the removed information. Where possible, consider processing data and training locally on the user's device without removing the data from the device. Updates to a model can then be shared with a central version. If you don't intend to update a central/global model, the training can be done locally on a user's device without the updated model ever leaving the device. When you intend the updated model on a local instance to contribute to updating a central model, your solution may include techniques such as federated learning. Strengthen your approach, processes, development. Continual learning data collection and model retraining is an important part of your machine learning operations (MLOps) process. An effective MLOps process should be automatic, using a robust, consistent, and understandable framework. This will allow the tracking of data throughout the continual learning process and give the ability to follow in the case of an error or attack, such as poisoning. It's important to be able to identify and manage model concept drift, where a model may start to adjust its predictions based on new training data that may move outside of the original operating criteria, or a model may begin to degrade as the data changes and exhibits new features or concepts. Guidance. There are lots of sources and texts that describe how to do effective MLOps. Consider using a pipeline architecture with checkpoints for testing and review processes as discussed in Principle 4.2. In operation, track your assets. As a part of this approach, you may consider running multiple models in parallel, enabling models to be updated and tested before being released for operation. A solution for this may use sandboxed environments to run updated models for comparison, or if models require user interaction, experimentation deployments can be set up that target smaller groups of users that interact with an updated model. Strengthen your people. Ensure your engineers understand what continual learning is and the associated risks. Having developers who understand this will enable them to make sensible decisions throughout system design and development. Guidance. Provide the necessary time and resources to ensure technical staff have an understanding of the range of ways CL can present itself and the possible security vulnerabilities that are associated.